Hello again, everybody. I am Gary Gotso. Welcome to Race Verse coverage of round 2 of the inaugural season of the ISRA Truck Series as they come to you tonight from Plate Atlanta Motor Speedway. Joining me in the booth, as always, for all season long is former IndyFix Series champion Mark Murphy. Mark, last week was interesting. I think we're going to see a lot more interesting racing again this week. Might be a battle for survival. 90 laps here at a track that's kind of notorious for the big one.
Yeah, Gary, what I'm looking for are two things. The first is who is going to be able to survive in that draft. Not necessarily the first two rows, but what happens behind them. The racing here is notoriously 2x2 for as far back as the eye can see, so who's going to be able to avoid the storm that inevitably occurs in the pack.
Right.
And the other thing that I'm going to be able to watch for is right front tire wear. The bottom is going to have a huge advantage at the beginning of a run. You're going to see those guys on the bottom pull away, but who's going to be able to manage their tires? This is Atlanta after all. Atlanta in the foothills. This track does get sandblasted. It is very rough on right fronts if you hold that red line down there. And so who is going to be able to best manage the right front tire of their particular Toyota, Chevrolet, or Ford pickup truck this evening? Hold on. So those two things I'm watching: the eye of the storm in the middle of the pack, and who is able to manage their right front up front.
About 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to play. Richie Hearn to the top with a new cable, an internet cable and everything. 168.939 miles per hour. Josh Tucker, P2.
It's about right. You're going to see guys that are really good at holding their hands extremely still and using the least amount of wheel possible to be extremely fast. No surprise to see IndyCar driver Richie Hearn up there. No surprise to see Josh Tucker up there.
Dean Mall putting it on the board right there. P5, 168.541.
But just no surprise to see guys who are really good at holding their hands really still, not using very much wheel input.
Here's last week's winner on the track right here is Christopher Reagan. He's turning his qualification laps. He's already checked in at a 164.3 his first time by. This time on the bottom. Going to use that apron. And let's see where he goes. Any improvement? Just a little bit. 168.3. Goodman on the board now.
Notice.
Go ahead.
Something you may notice, Gary, is that extra half a tenth or that extra few thousandths, as it were, is found right at running the left side wheels, almost on that red paint. So you see how Christopher Reagan was giving it that extra inch or two?
Yeah.
That cost him. That's going to cost him a few thousandths, right? Michael Goodman in a paint scheme near and dear to my heart, the Miller Highlight, a Miller American Special. He's going to go out and put it P9.
Matt Wagner provisionally on the pole here for 169 flat. The fastest truck. Yeah, we're the only one in the 169 bracket. Very good. We didn't see him turn the lap right until we saw him check into the pits there right at the very end. We didn't see him turn the lap. He turned that while we were covering Reagan there. 169 flat. Currently got the camera on Cristobal Valenzuela. He might just be willing to, in this, I think we're looking at a 15, 16 car field. Not a very deep field, so that way, I mean, maybe just start at the back. So 17 cars, and oh, wow, and that's it. It's time to go racing, boys.
Yeah. Cristobal decided it's not worth it to make a lap, and so he's gonna start at the back. Nine trucks took time, Gary. That means that we have 8 that did not. Beard, Callisto, Valenzuela, Gales, Beard, Guyon, Van Varelles, Fowler, and Crow did not take time. That may turn out to be a fortuitous move. Often at Atlanta, the action happens in the middle of the pack. Again, not the first 2 rows. It's going to be 3 or 4 on back. We're going to hit the starting lineup here.
Now let's get this starting lineup in here. Matt Wagner on the pole with the only one in the 169 bracket. Richie Hearn, P2. Josh Tucker, P3. Lewis Hayes, P4. Joe Hazard, P5. Mike Rigney, the host with the most, P6. Moving on back on the grid here. D-Mall, P7. Christopher Reagan, last week's winner, P8. Michael Goodman, P9. Lionel Callisto, he decided not to take a speed. He is slotting in 10th. Valenzuela, no speed, slotting in 11th. Gallus, slotting in 12th. Brian Beard making his first start, 13th. He said that he'd be watching for the rear, and I just said, who you're kidding? You're going to be up in the leaders about 3 laps. So we'll see if Brian Beard gets up here. He says he's not known for the trucks, but, you know, a racer's a racer. Alex Yoyan is 14th. I hope I'm saying this right, Van Voor Ellis, P15. Chris Fowler, 16th. And Sam Crow, who had a good finish last week, is 17th. So 17 trucks are lined up for 90 laps here at Plate Atlanta.
Something that you mentioned, right, Brian Beard going to the front, that's going to be a little bit more difficult here than it's going to be at a place like Talladega or Daytona. Really, there are truthfully 2 grooves here. I know that we saw them 3 wide in the Cup race finish a couple of weeks ago. Not so much in these. The trucks are a little bit more, they're a little bit wider. It is very difficult to get 3 lines going, and if you remember that race, these 3 were almost touching. You're not going to want to do that for very long, especially in a netcode environment in iRacing. As you go, higher the netcode. So, you know, these trucks are going to be facing that issue. They're going to want to give a little bit of space. It is very difficult to go 3 wide, especially up the middle here.
And remember, this time we have worked out the moving people in the voice channel, so we will be doing that, time permitted, in cautions. And from what I think, judging from kind of the hinting in the voice there from Mark here, he thinks there's going to be some cautions.
Can guarantee you, Gary, there are going to be cautions. There are going to be guys. There are going to be guys desperate to get to the front here. There are going to be guys that are going to hang out in the back, trying to not be involved. We get ready to come to green. Matt Wagner, we're going to lead him down from Richie Hearn and Josh Tucker. Here we go. They're off, right? Matt Wagner jumps out to the lead over Richie Hearn. He's going to get a good push from Josh Tucker. The key here is going to be which line can get more organized. Is Josh going to work with Matt Wagner?
I think he wanted to try to pull out, yeah, but now he's kind of committed now to the bottom.
Well, he kind of got forced to commit to the bottom. The safety truck was right there.
Richie is crowding him.
Well, he's side drafting him. So what you're going to try to do there is you're going to try to put the left front corner of your truck right up to the right rear wheel of the truck in front of you on the straightaway. And what that does is it basically aerodynamically stalls the vehicle on the inside. And as you see, Richie Hearn slingshots into the lead. I think Richie actually led that at the line. Still 2x2 down back. I notice the 11. I'm gonna call out the 11. That would be Joseph Hassert. He's given a lot of space to Josh Tucker in front, and then the 22 right behind him, or 20, is that 28? 28 of Michael Goodman, given
got him as a 28.
Yeah, but a little bit of different paint scheme that I'm seeing out of Train Paints Active. So apologies, but they're giving each other a lot of room inside. That's going to make the top more organized. So if the top is going to stay organized as they are, 4, 5, 6 trucks back, no gap, I'm going to push Richie Hearn out to the lead, and Richie is going to have his choice of line here. we're seeing is a matter of organization. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the bottom is going to be dominant early in a run. They have to be organized. It's just like Daytona. Whichever line you saw be more organized is the line that's going to forge ahead. Right now, the top is more organized. They push Richie Hearn out front. Now they're going to try to push the 38 truck. That's going to be Lewis Hayes. They can stay organized, and Richie doesn't. Assuming Richie doesn't drop him and go to the bottom, they're going to forge ahead of the bottom just simply by the fact that they've got 2, 4, 6, 7 trucks. And really, the bottom only has 2. They're laying off a Tucker there in second. Maybe that's a wise move. Maybe it's not. Who knows? But you see how they're not organized on the bottom. That's letting Richie Hearn do 2 things. One, running on top and able to good run off the corners down the straightaways. The other thing is 12. Okay, so Matt Wagner is burning his right front up, holding it on the red line like he is. And these are not Indy cars. These guys normally race Indy cars.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we were with Mike Wagner. We were with Matt Wagner last night when he was racing in the Dark Horse League there at Pocono in the DW12s at Legacy Pocono. This is a whole different ball of wax. Did a reset of trading paints, as you mentioned that, just to make sure we are seeing the right paints and everything, and that's why we see the cars momentarily drawing white and then filling back in. We just want to make sure we're seeing exactly what you are. Whoa, Richie going wide on the corner exit. He has Lewis Hayes right with him.
And Josh Tucker almost drove right straight underneath.
I thought he was going to try to do that.
I thought I might would have made that. I thought I would have made that work. And the inside line pays the price because Josh had to get out of the gas, and now he falls back, which goes for Matt. It takes him a lap or 2 to get wound back up. Now the bottom and the top again pretty even. Richie Hearn's still going to lead that lap, but the bottom is going to, as it should, being the shorter distance round, come back. Oh, Richie Hearn gets a little bit squirrely going into
we're going to car in the wall.
They're wrecking.
And they're wrecking. Oof. And there is no fast repair here, folks. Joe Hassard, I think, is involved here. And Joe Hassard is towed already. Just going to go through the field here just to see how everyone is. I know Richie got bounced around. Not bad. I mean, they got a 1/9 of the way through this thing before bouncing off each other finally.
And that's just a deal where the middle became available. In the 38, he's thinking, okay, 38's thinking, okay, look, I can make that work. Lewis Hayes didn't do anything wrong there. There was a huge opening. You almost have to take that and try to shuffle Richie Hearn out. Unfortunately, there's a wall there coming off of turn 2. Richie Hearn has to move down. That forces the 38 into the 11. Unfortunately, I think the 11 of Joseph Hassard is going to get the worst of it. Not only does he get turned, but he goes up and he hits Richie Hearn pretty hard. Richie's going to have significant damage. He's probably going to be okay. You're likely looking at just a little bit of body damage on the 38. Probably nothing he can't fix, and maybe a little bit of damage too on the 80 truck. That's going to be Mike Rigney.
Yeah,
you're probably going to see a little bit of body damage on him. Good opportunity to pit, fix some damage, and we're going to see some trucks take advantage of that. Probably too early to change tires, though, if you're running up front.
Yeah, there are tire limits here. I think there are 3 sets. The one you start on, 2 others in the pit. So if you don't have to this early, don't take them on.
True. That's true. And the other thing is, it's kind of like racing an IndyCar at Michigan. Okay, so in fixed race we would have 2 sets. You have to strategically use one of them if you get an early caution. You're inside the fuel window. The other set you kind of save because guys up front. So if you're looking at if you're looking at Matt Wagner or Josh Tucker or Cristobal, you're probably not going to want to change tires. You're up front. Why would you? But on the flip side of that, if you're in the back, you might want to change them because you'll wear them faster in the back than you are in the front. The dirty air, the disturbed air forces you to use more mechanical grip rather than aero grip. And these trucks, yeah, they may have the aerodynamic properties of a brick, Gary, but they still do generate significant downforce through the splitters and the spoilers and the way they channel air around the greenhouse. And so you're going to use a lot more mechanical grip, a lot more tire if you're in fifth or sixth row as opposed to the first. Make sense?
Yep, perfect. That's why we have you here, man. You are the driver expert.
Maybe not an expert in these things, although I do race them occasionally. Like most of these guys, I tend to stick to things without roofs, but nothing wrong with this. Lights are out on the pace truck. By the way.
We're getting ready to go green, lining up here.
And to be,
go right ahead. We're
gonna line them up. We're gonna line them up, and I as much as I love Matt Wagner, I think Josh Tucker has the advantage here. Being on the high side, he's going to be able to conserve his stuff a little bit more. And again, I think that outside line is always going to prevail, especially if they stay organized. But we're about to find out. The pace truck is getting ready to make the hard left onto pit road.
And we did not pull anybody up that time, but we will do that next time. We had a lot of people involved in an incident there. We didn't want to. We had some upset people that early on. Going green for lap 13. Hopefully that is not an omen either. Here we go.
Something
Tucker,
else they're not
wheel spinning.
Something else they're probably not familiar with is restart boxes. Don't do those in open wheel cars.
No.
Restart boxes
No.
here. They have them here, Gary. They have them here, and that's I think why you're seeing so much disorganization. Restarts. Huge break in the top line. The bottom is going to get formed up the front three. Here comes the 38. He's going to get right back to the rear bumper. The 44. He's got the 19 with him. They're going to come off of 4. Matt Wagner is going to lead it from Josh Tucker. And the 38, that's going to be Lewis Hayes.
And Cristobal Valenzuela, he was up at the front a lot last week. Back up at the front again already. He's up 7 spots. 10 spots up for Sam Crow.
It's not where you run though, Gary. It's where you finish that matters.
Yeah, you still got to get there though. You still got to get there.
Cristobal ran really good at Daytona, but involved in a fracas and wound up finishing at the bottom half. He's going to look to make good on that. Very good restrictor plate racer. The top now starting to form. Josh Tucker goes to the lead.
Well, if you're just joining us, this is the ISRA Truck Series. We're lap 15 of 90. 1 caution period so far. Hopefully that's it, but we might see some more. But if you're enjoying the program, make sure to give us a thumbs up there in the video. Leave a comment if you have a fan that's you're following a certain truck or want to make a statement of who was at fault. Go right ahead and put that in chat. Also, you may subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Ring the bell. Starting the 9th of March, going to the 22nd of June, we have an incredible 87 races scheduled in that time frame.
Race versus back, Gary. Race versus is back.
So by the time we get to the 4th of July, Gary is going to be one tired broadcaster, but feel free to donate to the program as well. We are not taking any league fees on this one. We're doing this for free. But if you'd like to see a donation, that would be most helpful. Go right ahead, and our link to our GoFundMe is in the description.
Something that I'd like to point out: the 19, the 19 up there. That's going to be Christopher Reagan. He's kind of skinned up on the driver's side, the left side there. That's not really going to play a whole huge role given that he's on the outside and the driver's side of that truck is skinned up. That's not going to really hurt anything right now. But if he were to go to the lead, it may play an effect. He's going to be really good at pushing.
We're running along with Sam Crow in that 8 truck.
That's a really good view. It shows you just how little you can see out of these things. Much. You can maybe see on the inside. You're right up against the truck in front of you. Your only contact with reality is the red line at the bottom of the track. If you're on the outside,
Reagan in the wall.
Lewis Hayes just shoots Josh Tucker into the lead.
Reagan into the wall. He recovers. He's going to get back in line, try to get back in the draft. Back there is Rigney as well. But on his right, Tucker was momentarily taking a peek at the front. So the biggest thing this track here, though, that this is not well, I can't even say this is the Atlanta for my father. My father's Atlanta would have been the old standard oval one, but this is a redone version of the redone Atlanta. So what were the big changes here? They obviously have made it so it's very pack racy, and that has to do with how they kind of reshaped the racetrack.
Sure. So they didn't really reshape the racetrack so much as they narrowed it. So it went really from 4 lanes wide to 3. They made the banking a lot steeper. Recall they raised the banking up. The big difference is it's a lot more narrow. It used to be, when you would come off of turn 2 at old Atlanta, it felt like you had unlimited room out there to kind of give the cars head. Now
Lewis to the lead.
And now it's a very narrow exit off of 2, so you don't have any room to maneuver off of 2 over there. That's the biggest thing to me. The other part is just the banking. And then the third thing is it is hyper smooth now. The old Atlanta was very bumpy and it was very, very abrasive. People don't realize Atlanta is in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. And so it's subject. We got a crash. We got the 8 on the apron. He's going to save it. Holy mackerel! The 08. That's going to be Alex Guyon. He saved it. He got doored by that 8. It looked like he went down to the apron. He got about 45 degrees sideways, and Alex Guyon saves the automobile, saves that Chevrolet, and he's going to keep on trucking. He's not even going to lose the draft.
Well, we'll ride with him, see what happens here. We went and go back in the Wayback Machine here. And we'll see how he reacts. 8 truck to the outside just comes down on him. I think the 8 truck might have got loose. And wow, look at that. Great job. And really, yeah, you're right. I don't think he lost track of the draft.
You've got 2 or 3 guys back there hanging out. 2 or 3 guys hanging out back there. You've got Hugo Gallas, Mike Rigney, just kind of hanging out, running at the back, seeing what develops. As long as you're within 1.2 to 1.5 seconds, the guy in front, you're able to sniff that draft. Certainly Alex Guyon is in that position. Looking at his speeds through the corners right now, running 173, 174. He's in great shape, right? He's going to be able to suck right back up to the 57 of Hugo Gallas. He's going to be right there as soon as he wants to be there.
I like Hugo's choice of livery. He's like, I'll just go with standard iRacing livery. And there he is. A lot of these guys, we talked about a lot of these guys race open wheelers, and they have custom paint jobs and everything for their open wheelers. But this is really a lot of guys here trying trucks kind of for the first time. We've heard that. Brian Beard, who is now up to 5th, has said he's kind of trying trucks. He's not a regular truck driver. So everyone's just kind of trying things out, and no fancy paint jobs. Although Reagan, I can see Reagan has a fancy paint job, because that is a Dakota the Made paint job, because they got that Sunset Arctic sponsorship on the tailgate. So he probably paid big one for that one.
I have no idea about fancy paint jobs, Gary. I always run the iRacing spec paint job on my especially
Yeah,
if it's chrome.
the last race I was in, I think with a next gen car, I just got one that was like Bondo gray.
Well, that would fit you perfectly.
It's like preseason testing Bondo gray. Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, though, when you talk about those fancy paint jobs, that is an expense. Right? And so, guys that are out here doing this just for fun may not want to pay.
Well, look at Josh Tucker. I like the flat black. It works. Just a number in flat black. Camping World logo across the top. Even though we're no longer Camping World. Craftsman, the best tools there. Well, depending on who you talk about. But I remember when the truck series was first formed. I was telling Mike when he was bringing the series up, he should go back and call it the Super Trucks. I thought it was so cool to call them the Super Trucks. But
if we're gonna go back, we should get Craftsman back to Sears.
What's that?
I said if we're gonna go that far back, we should give Craftsman back to Sears and Advanced Auto Parts back to Western Auto.
Well, there's not much of a Sears around anymore.
There isn't. What are there?
There are a couple of them. Yeah, there's a couple of them still out there.
I hear they lost their tower. The inside line, by the way, is prevailing right now. The outside.
Yep.
Outside just not as organized. Matt Wagner out there. Josh Tucker going to be second. That is a contested second with Cristobal. The difference in lines, again, it doesn't really tell until they've been 20, 25 laps under green. You can really start to see.
We're getting there.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Josh isn't really pinching Wagner now. Given plenty of space, right? That's open wheelers. A stock car guy is going to be pinching him hard down at the bottom, laying the left front on the right rear, disturbing the air off of that spoiler, really working the truck in front of him hard. You can see there's 3-4 feet between those trucks. If Josh really wanted to get to the lead, he would go start laying air on Matty Wagner's bumper. He's not doing it. I think they're kind of content right now. Honestly, I think right now, Wagner, Cristobal, Josh, the 31 of Dean Mall, and the 38 of Lewis Hayes. I think honestly, right now they're just running out the string. They feel safe.
Well, we should have. I'm not sure exactly when pit stops are going to occur here, but they are quickly coming. 2 sets of tires they have in the pit, so if they do stop here at this point in time of the race, and
Josh Tucker just took a shot in the back.
Yeah.
Just took a shot in the back from Lewis Hayes. Had it turned sideways going into turn 1. Of course, he saves it, and that naturally propels him right up to the lead. 40 laps, 45 laps.
All right.
Standard.
Coming up to that point. And then we'll ultimately see them make a change of tires for that stop, because I'm sure these tires here are not going to be good for another stint, unlike possibly on a super speedway.
Give a shout out to Chris Fowler. He's worked himself.
Here we go. Let's take a look at Fowler right here. Here he is in the 20.
That's the 20. That's the third.
Up 11 spots, and he's the first of the cars to stop. That stopped on the pit stop at the last caution. So he has worked his way up to 5th. That is that's a big deal, because if these guys all stop and he stays out, and there's an issue coming to pit road or something, and causes a yellow, he's gonna be the leader. Possibly get a lap on people.
This is the reason I wanted to bring this up. If we were on our home car, if we were in the IRA 18, Chris Fowler has done as a huge advantage. These trucks, it may turn into a huge disadvantage. Still going to pit. The other cars pit. Is the difference between being in the draft and not being in the draft like 7 miles an hour. Like those qualifying laps that they turn by themselves, Gary.
Yep.
Qualifying laps they turned by themselves. The pole was 32.
Yeah, they were in the 169 flat was the pole speed by Wagner there, and we'll give you last lap miles per hour. And they're actually, right in that range right now with these worn tires.
Right. So think about what they're going to be doing in the draft on new tires versus you sitting out there by yourself on old tires. The difference can be as much as a second a lap. And so advantage that Chris Fowler is going to have isn't that he's not going to want to stop with these guys. It's going to be that his stop is going to be short. He's going to have to the tires are done long before the fuel is in anyway.
Yep. You're right.
That's going to be his advantage. It's not going to be stay out because pack is far, far quicker than even 2 or 3 trucks together. Believe me, we tried it.
And this is why we're here. We're here to learn a little bit about the trucks here, so we can maybe cover some in the future on Race First. But primarily, we're open wheelers here on Race First. But we kind of think with the open wheel mentality, like everyone should be saving fuel right now.
Right. They should all turn the fuel mixture.
Yeah, turn the fuel mixture down.
Right.
Change your way jacker.
no fuel mixture, no way jacker.
No way jacker. The only thing they have to adjust in the cockpit is brake bias.
And even then, very limited brake bias. So they can only move it 3% to the front or the back.
Yeah.
Whereas their normal rides, they're able to move it wherever they want. Here, they're only really able to go the equivalent of 6 clicks up and 6 clicks back. That makes any sense to the viewers at home. It shouldn't. Just know that the adjustment is very limited. Stock car and Indy cars, make a brake bias from the cockpit, whatever you want. Oh, fuel mixture adjustments. Now, what is helping guys like Fowler, the 19 of Christopher Reagan, the 08 of Alex Guyon, you see guys back in the pack. They're only having to run part throttle to keep up. I would surmise that if I was Alex Guyon, he's probably only running maybe 3/4 throttle in the corners. He might be running half throttle on the straights just to keep up. Whereas Josh Tucker and Matt Wagner, they are foot to the floor as far as it can go to the stops flat out. So they're burning more gas up front. Wrong. But they're doing it with their feet. They're not doing it with a knob on the steering wheel.
Gotcha. IndyCar versus Trucks 101 right there. 42 of 90, quickly coming up to the halfway point. Very good run by these guys. Not horribly exciting. There we do have John Van Voorellis, hope I'm saying that right. Getting out of the way. Oh, John, power slide. There he goes. Trying out for Fast 5, Fast 6, or whatever fast version we're up to.
There you go. He saves it. So you mentioned the difference between Indy cars and stock cars. Just counted, Gary. There are 15 buttons, 2 switches, 15 buttons, 2 switches, 2 toggles, and 3 rotary dials on my steering wheel. Running IndyCar. These guys have 1 button, and that's for the radio.
The radio, yeah.
That's it. So it's a little bit different. Okay? Not to mention the fact that our steering wheels are rectangles as opposed to actual.
Right, and if this was IndyCar, that we would be shifting gears at some point during this lap, especially as the tires go off, to keep the revs up. Several times a lap. Here, they're not touching the gear shifts at all, other than that initial coming up to speed.
Oh, and that's the difference between a big, 350 cubic inch American V8 muscle car engine against a very, very tiny V6 with twin turbochargers.
Yeah, it's a 2.2 liter, I think, is what the IndyCar runs.
It's very small.
Yeah.
Maybe, what is it, 140 cubic inches, maybe? Gasoline injection versus these fuel-injected monsters that are, good old Detroit 305s and 308s. it's night and day.
You can stick your hand down the cylinder well there.
Can you imagine what it would have been like if they were the old 427, the old 426 Hemis?
Oof.
And that's the advancement in technology, folks. Right? So we can make, 750 horsepower out of a small block Chevy V8. We can make 800 horsepower now out of an engine that is, for all intents and purposes, could fit in the seat of the car that it's propelling. They're tiny now.
Yeah.
But they still make big power.
Well, 47 now of 90, past the halfway point. If you are enjoying us, make sure to give a thumbs up. This is Race First coverage of the ISRA Truck Series. We had Josh Tucker and Matt Wagner kind of slugging it out the front all race long. Go right ahead.
Gary, they're getting ready to come to pit road. Josh Tucker just got on the radio and said, look, you guys need to let me down. I got to pit. So stops are imminent here, green flag pit stops, and I want to see this.
This is going to be interesting because no one has to let him down, really. I mean, they could, if they want to, they it looks like, it does look like that Cristobal is giving him room.
Yeah, they're going to,
well, not so much. He had room, and he didn't take it.
He's in a bad spot. Right? Josh he radioed in and said, hey, put the virtual hand out the window. Hey, I got a pit. Let me go. The danger is he's going to run out in front of the entire field. That's going to be disastrous. Okay, so the gentleman would be to let him down. I think the 30.
What's the best thing though? I mean, these guys in the back now. I mean, they're looking at impending doom right in front of them. Do they give more room then if they know that this potentially might be an issue if they're not going to let the driver in?
Yes and no. I mean, I think the 31. You're looking at D-Mall there. He's
4 laps down right now. He's 4 laps down, but he could let him in if he wants to. He's done a great job. I'm not sure why he got 4 laps down and then quickly rejoined the pack. I must have just had pretty good timing. I don't remember him being involved in that big wreck, but
I don't recall him being either. But the advantage is, you cut your fellow competitor a break. And they'll remember that. Race drivers have memories that are worse than elephants. So,
no. We never forget. We never forget when we're wronged.
I can still recall the exact instance where I was wronged in a go-kart 3 years ago. The guy that did it. I'm still waiting to pay him back.
Oh, in the wall, in the wall, Josh, in the wall. This might be what he really needs, really. He's going to lose time, but allow, say Lewis Hayes around him.
Yeah, look at him.
There goes Dean
straight
Mall.
to the bottom.
Yeah.
Josh is really working hard, and I think he's worked his right side tires to death, too.
But we'll see. We got the camera on, Josh. We'll see if he makes that slow down. And the 8's giving him a little extra space. So he's looking to go off the banking, and there he goes. Now he just needs to get it down to a ridiculously slow 45 miles an hour. Did he get there?
Okay there.
I think he did. Good job.
Well, and here's the thing. The other thing, Gary, he came by himself.
Yeah. Well, he had to. Had no choice. He did. He's
out of gas.
He's out of gas?
And there's the difference between the top and the bottom. Matt Wagner also led, right? So Josh led the top line. Matt led the bottom. Oh, whoa. We got a wreck, right? We got a wreck. 33 hits Matt Wagner in the rear end. They don't make it to pit road. Matt Wagner does not make it to pit road.
33 is trying to, and he might just get the caution because of that.
No, he's not on the racing surface. Not on the racing surface. He's getting going. He's up above 70 miles an hour. I don't think we're going to have a yellow, Gary.
I don't think so either.
We're have a yellow at all. What an amazing save from Matt Wagner. And look, the other thing is here, I don't know that Tucker's not going to get an unsafe pit exit. I'm going to try it again. We're going to pit. I don't know know that Josh Tucker's not going to get an unsafe pit exit.
Crystal ball right into the back of him. Yeah. Did we get a penalty for Tucker? Tucker was in the box only 16 seconds, so.
No, I meant to say on pit. No, he didn't get a speeding penalty.
Okay.
I meant to say on pit exit.
You're talking about Wagner being unsafe. No, I don't think he did.
The thing is, the disadvantage for Josh is now he's out there with no help. He was out there. Wagner was going to be his help, because one lap they're going to be pretty close together. Although Tucker does have now, he does have the 78. He's got John Van Barles with him, so he's got somebody at least draft with. That was hugely unprofitable for Josh Tucker because he's out of the pack. It is also not going to work out well probably for Matt Wagner because he got really slowed up. Now he's going to have to go to the back.
Cristobal as well. Here comes Cristobal he's on the apron. Now he's coming off a pit road, so he just completed his stop. 14.4 in the box. Wagner 14.9 in the box, but he's going to miss the. Go ahead.
The other thing about Cristobal is he's caved in the nose.
Mm-hmm.
So you can damage pretty much anything in these things, Gary. But he's caved in the nose.
Yeah. So Dean Mall is at the front here, but he is shown as 9 laps down. So he got a lap back by passing the leader. Your leader is Chris Fowler to 20, as you mentioned earlier. As he's working his way up through the field here. To his outside is the O2. That is car off. Okay, there goes Christopher Reagan off pit road there. Slow down. So hopefully he did not get a penalty. He looked really fast, though. So Lionel Callisto in the 2. And that Miller Genuine Draft throwback. He is currently P2 on the race course at the moment. Chris Fowler P1. They're swapping it back and forth down the backstretch. The 08 of Alex Guyon. He is P3. He still needs to stop. Guyon and Beard still need to stop. They have not made any stops yet. They're going really deep into this run. Those tires have got to be pretty well spent. Michael Goodman, he's right there. He has stopped at least one time. Quickly going through the laps here. 30 to go with lap 60. How far can Fowler go? Fowler was one of the early ones that stopped. Fowler stopped on lap 12. Callisto stopped on lap 12. Got some more coming in. That is Beard. This is his first stop. Oof. You got to practice those green flag pit stops. As much as you don't want to, you have to.
But you do, Gary. And here's the other thing that, that again, I was trying to bring up with Tucker, and it also affects Wagner. If you make your stop without help, now obviously Tucker does have some help with him, so does Matt Wagner. But if you pit outside of the pack, you're going to be so much slower than the other people. And for poor Josh, he didn't do anything wrong. Right? He did nothing wrong. He made his stop and he got to pit road in good order. But because Matt Wagner had trouble, he got left out by himself with just, the 78 to draft with him. That came a couple of laps later. Wagner now does have some help. That's in the form of the truck, I believe. Go to that. That's going to be Mike Rigney. So he's got somebody with him. But that's going to hurt them. That's going to hurt them quite a bit. Quite a bit. Josh Tucker, Matt Wagner, when the cycle started, were running 1-2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Matt Wagner is now several seconds ahead of Josh Tucker because he got that push 1 or 2 laps before Josh did.
Yeah, we need to get the gaps up here. We're having to kind of have the last speeds going just to give everyone an idea of what the speeds are here. The gaps were pretty evident when you saw everyone sitting on top of one another. Riding with Rigney at the moment.
Now, the front three have not pitted. At least the front three have not pitted.
No, Callisto has not. And Gallus also. So it's Callisto at lap 12, Goodman at 11, Gallus at 12. So those are the last laps they pitted. They're doing anytime, really.
No, and they're probably going to go gas only here. I mean, I would 17 laps from the end. You're going to need, maybe one can, maybe that. I don't think tires are worth it for them. But is that one can of fuel and
is one can of fuel? Can you change 2 tires and 1 can of fuel? That it takes to put one can. You can. Okay.
You can, but here's the problem with that, Gary. Right. So we don't ever change 2 tires in IndyCars because it's a single hub, and you could change a set of 4 in like 5 seconds. In these things, yes, you can get 2. The problem with getting 2 is it changes the handling of the vehicle. In other words, getting 2 only is going to absolutely make the thing dismal to drive in terms of loose or oversteer. Okay,
fair enough.
Especially at a high bank track like this, at an intermediate oval of.
And here comes Goodman. Goodman on pit road, and he is going to get the pit road. He's probably going to get an unsafe pit road entry, as he pummeled the cone. So that is not good. So unfortunately, that might remove Goodman from contention. We'll see. Well,
here's the other thing. The 78 has now stopped, and so Tucker is now by his lonesome and falling just on the order like a rock. Fortunately for Josh, again, didn't do anything wrong. The other thing
Goodman's
is
going for 4, but I don't think. He's being held. But yeah, he's sped. So now we're back up to the front, and Lionel Callisto now is your leader. Again, he stopped at lap 12. Gallus also at lap 12. There is Gallus right behind him in the plain white iRacing wrapper there.
They've got Dean Mole with them.
Yeah, Dean Mole, he last stopped something happened to him, and I'm showing him way off the pace, but he said he pitted at lap 1. I don't know if he had a problem starting the game or something, and then rejoined the field, and all of a sudden was 10 laps down. But he has not been hurting for speed. He has been up there all race long. And I was wondering for a while. That something was wrong with my timing and scoring, because I saw that, and I was like, well, is he here? Here comes Callisto off the banking with ball.
That's planned. It's planned.
Get down, boys. Get down. Good job. So great stop for Callisto and Mole so far, getting down to the pit road speed limits. Half the battle with these things. Now they're going to bring them down, so they have to be in most of the time is second gear is where they measure the tack speed at. So they get the second gear all the way down.
Either first or second, it doesn't really matter. That's almost a driver's choice. There are lights on the tack. Hugo's going to come now. He pretty much has to. His hand's been forced. Even if he has the fuel, he's going to have to stop, and that is going to hand the lead, I believe,
Josh Tucker.
To Josh Tucker, who now has collected 3 other trucks,
and one of which is last week's winner, Christopher Reagan. But Hugo Gallus was a whole lap up on everybody, so he's now getting to his stall. And so he's actually, he's going for tires. So you were talking about maybe saving a stop and going just for topping it off, and he's going for a set of 4. So that's going to keep him on pit road a little bit longer. Tucker's coming now. He's going to pass them just as they come through the quad oval area.
Now, no restrictor plates on the trucks here, and so it doesn't. You're going to be at full speed at the end of the back straight. But poor Hugo, by the time he gets there, he's going to be half a lap behind. Looking to see what's coming behind him. He's going to have the 2 truck tandem of the 2 and the 31.
Well, he's got Gallus again, and he's got Mole again.
He might be able to. Could be able to get.
And behind Gallus is Wagner and Beard.
He's
and Rigney.
Mike could be able to sneak in behind those guys, although we're going to be pulling away from him, and he's not exactly down on the line where he needs to be. If he's going to pick up those 2 trucks in front of him, he needs to be right down on the red line. Really going for.
Oh, we're going to go 3 wide here. Nope. Tucker almost into the wall. Now he's going to possibly get freight trained here on the bottom, unless someone comes up to help him. And it doesn't look like it. So put last week's winner, Christopher Reagan, now to the lead.
He's got the 38 and the 08 in good attendance there. The 38 and the 08, by the way, not part of this battle. They are.
No, they are. The 38, say hey, Lewis Hayes there, and Alex B. Guyan is he's sitting there at the 3rd. Hayes is 2nd, and Josh Tucker is 4th. So this is a battle for position, with the exception of Valenzuela, unfortunately, who lost the lead lap because he had he slowed down and made another stop.
It's the side draft. Okay, so Tucker did the right thing. He laid the air, used his left foot, laid the air on the spoiler of the 08.
All right.
He took moving with him. He was able to draw ahead. Watch, you're going to want to get as close as you can. Josh, being the IndyCar guy that he is, doesn't. But you're going to get as close as you can to that truck on the inside, stall him out. Now he's got the 38, pulls up in front of him. And we're going to basically have a 2 truck by 2 truck tandem here to come to the win with 15 to go. Josh is going to give the 38 a shove. Let's see if he has a shot. No, we're going to wreck. We're going to wreck instead.
Guyan and Reagan into the inside, and 44 up into the wall, Tucker. And we are still running green. And I'm not sure what happened, but we'll go back and see exactly what happened one more time.
It looked like a bad move from Josh. So he thought he was clear of the 19, and he wasn't. He went to go change lanes to dive under the 38.
I can't go back and find out. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. So let's just get back to live coverage here. And Lewis Hayes. That's weird. I could not recover that for some reason. Anyway, say hey, Lewis Hayes is your leader now with Alex B. Guyan P2. Callisto. Now with Maul, and Maul might push Callisto back up into this group. Possible. It's 1.8 seconds, 1.7 seconds, 1.6 seconds.
Everyone's going to have to wear him out. Now, here's the problem with that. You can really only push for a couple of laps, and then you start pushing them water. These trucks will overheat in 2 laps.
Well, we'll see. He's 1.3 seconds now.
Well, the saving grace is Cristóbal there. So,
and Reagan is closing down. Now he's right with them.
So Valenzuela was the saving grace there. He was laying off the lead group by being that half a second behind that he was. They're going to get a huge run. Went right in. I said get close to the rear spoiler with your left front. I didn't say run into the spoiler with your left front now, fellas. Come on. There's kind of an interesting thing. The 31 looked like he was going to go with the 38, and then he abruptly switched lanes, and they're going to hang the 38 out to dry. Notice that, Gary?
Yep.
We're going to let him go. Now, these guys, with 4 trucks in a group, we're going to be able
Christopher Reagan is quickly coming up on this group, too. He's got it now under 1.6 seconds.
Well, these boys need to get single file because if they don't, they're going to get caught by everybody, and we're going to have a giant pack. You got Christopher Reagan 1.8 back. They keep racing like this. Hugo and Matt Wagner and Brian Beer are going to be right on them within a matter of moments.
Yeah, we're looking at Gala's back 4.1 now. As that continue, well, it's actually going up right now. Now it's 4.2, so they're not really gaining. Maybe because they're not really organized at the moment. 10 laps to go.
They're arguing over who's going to organize them. That's different. That's always a debate, right? I'm faster, let me lead it, right? We just kind of heard the radio transmission there. Now they appear to be a lot more organized back there. Let's see if they can catch them. know if they can. Down to 4.3 that last lap. You got Wagner pushing Gallons, Beard pushing Wagner. 3 trucks, if you can get them organized, are faster than 2.
9 to go.
It's very difficult to get 3 guys organized, especially if they're not teammates. Now, if they're teammates and they're working together in Discord and so on, it's fairly easy to get 3 guys to run nose to tail.
Here comes Christopher Reagan. He's going to be part of this battle momentarily. Cristobal Valenzuela just pulls up, let him out of the way. He's going to hang on to the tail end of this group. Now he's got the best seat in the house, really.
Now, Gary, here's something else that you might want to consider. Cristobal Valenzuela can play Kingmaker here if he wants to. Let's say that Christopher Reagan wants to pull out a line, go to the top. Cristobal wants to follow him. He can push in the lead if he wants to do it.
We got a couple slower trucks up ahead, actually. One is, I believe, Van Voorlis. Yeah, Van Voorlis. And the 8 of Sam Crow.
Going to stay high, it appears.
Now, Crow's going to go down a lap. They're going to just try to stay high. Crow doesn't want to slow down too much because then he's in a fight for position with Valenzuela. So I don't want to let that to happen, but he tries to keep it under power. 7 to go, side by side now. Alex Beguyan, Lionel Callisto are at the lead here. Say hey, Lewis Hayes here is going to try to look. Well, he's looking in the middle. Now he is at the high side.
That second group is not catching them, Gary.
They're not. They're not.
They've lost 7/10 a lap for the last 2 laps. Not catching them. If I look at that group, you've got the truck leading them. The truck leading them on the bottom, and then the second truck in line. So Hugo's leading them, and then Brian Beer is leading them now, and you've got Hugo and Matt Wagner following them, but they're not nose to tail. The truck in second. It's almost like they're trying to swap draft IndyCar style. The second truck kind of pop up in the draft right there.
And that doesn't work really well in these?
No, that's stalling them out.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
In order to really go fast in these trucks in any sort of a stock car, whether it be truck, Xfinity.
Stay in line, hold your line, everyone tuck in.
You've almost got to be connected.
Yeah.
These trucks actually will connect. The Ford's better than the Chevys.
Ooh, Cristobal on the wall there.
Will connect is what I'm saying. Like you
Gotcha.
can connect them together. And that's almost where you need to be to make speed, especially the speed that those guys need. So when you see a truck jumping out of line like that, that's just
3 to go.
And we're about to see a battle royale. Don't necessarily know where I would rather be. I think you're probably in pretty good shape if you're the 2, the 08, or the 38. I don't think the winner is going to come from somebody that's in those top 3. It's way too hard to make it 3 wide here. But we're coming back to get 2 to go.
2 to go. Lionel Callisto. 3 more miles. Getting a win here in the ISRA Truck Series. But not before Alex Guyan and Lewis Hayes has something else to say about it. And Callisto using that IRL line. We know that very well from the IndyCar Series. On the bottom, on the white line, shortest way around. Here we come to the white flag. Last lap here at Atlanta, ISRA Truck Series.
Here we go. Here we go. The 08's going to load it up. He's going to try to figure out where to go. Am I going to go to the middle? He's got one more shot to do it probably at the end of the back, but he's trying to figure out where. Is he going to be able to split him? Is he going to go to the bottom?
Yeah, he's not going to go to the bottom because that's where Lionel is actually blocking now. Not blocking, but definitely filling that hole. Side by side. That's going to run out. That's going to Callisto is going to actually probably get the win based upon that, because there's no one helping that second line, and Callisto with the win.
Alex Guy on second. Christopher Reagan brings it home.
So 2 straight podiums for Reagan. Great on him. Lewis Hayes just unfortunately got up into the wall there, and that killed momentum of that high line, and that sealed it for Lionel Callisto, your winner here. And the ISRA Truck Series. Wow, that was a great stint.
Yeah, and I'm trying to go back and look at what happened to Lewis Hayes. They're not connected. It's just he got it loose a little bit. Things started toward the wall. He didn't quite catch it, and that's the race. What a great run though for Lionel Callisto to win that deal. I said it was going to come from the front 3, and
there you go. That's why you're the driver expert. That's why I just call the action as I see it. Lionel Callisto, your winner. Alex Guyan, P2. Christopher Reagan, last week's winner. Another podium, so it's a great start to the points championship for him, P3. Lewis Hayes and Brian Beard in his first start, P5. I told you Beard was going to be right up there. I told you. Wagner 6th, Gallus 7th, Crow 8th, Valenzuela 9th, Rigney 10th, Goodman 11th, Van Ellis 12th, Tucker 13th, and then that's really not indicative of where Tucker was all day. He was right there at the front. D-Mall was running with the leaders. I'm not sure. He must have had a connection issue coming into the race. Chris Fowler, unfortunately, he was among the leaders there and fell back there toward the end. But I know we'll see him back at the front in the next race for sure. Moving on, Richie Hearn got taken out on an early wreck, and so did Big Joe Hassert there in that tide ride. He got punted there, and that just started that big calamity there. And I think that was our only caution.
It was. We had a couple of near misses and a couple of close calls, and we had a couple of trucks in the fence. But by and large, the guys saved it, got it to pit road, and we ran this race with 1 caution. That's incredible, by the way, here at Atlanta. I think the race I was in with the American Motorsports Association Friday night here a couple of Fridays ago had 6 or 7 of those. So very, very well done.
All right, well, let's see if we can get Christopher Reagan into the booth here. Bring him on up here, and we can move him. Hey, Chris. First of all, congratulations on last week's win. Second of all, congratulations on P3. Snuck through there at the end to get the second podium. Great start to the points championship as well. Did you expect that whole race would go green from that first caution on, though?
Man, I did not think we were going to go as green as we did. We did a little bit of practice, and that thing was loose, and but it was a lot of fun. Thank you for last week, and since I didn't get to do an interview last week, I just want to say thanks to everybody, Mike Rigney. I also want to thank George from Lionheart, because he gathered this group of guys, and we can all race together with confidence and really battle really good. And it's carried over to this league already. So thanks to both of those guys. It's been a blast these first 2 weeks.
I've got to ask, Chris, going down the back on that last lap, how tempting was the middle?
I'll be honest. I really wasn't even thinking about it. I was thinking about, I think it was Hayes that was in front of me. I was thinking about just trying to push him along and accept a podium. Sam was on the inside of me, and I had nowhere really to go, and I didn't want to cause the last lap accident. So it just worked out. Back to thanking people. Richie Hearn has helped me with like racecraft stuff and just being patient. And I come from drag racing, so everything's go right now. And just being patient seems to be working out.
Well, congratulations. 2 podiums in a row. Undoubtedly, that is going to keep you in the points lead. Next week, we are off to Kentucky, so another one of these cookie-cutter tracks to look forward to, but a great opening to this campaign, nevertheless, and congratulations on the podium, and we'll check in the next race.
Thank you guys very much. Looking forward to it.
Chris.
Yeah, he knew. I mean, he's just a pro. He's like up here, talks about his race, and then immediately gets into the shout outs. That is a pro. He knows what he has to do when he gets up here. Let's bring up Alex Guyan and bring him into the booth. Hey, Alex, we got you here in the booth here with myself, Gary, and Mark. And you were just kind of up there all day, and then the calamity kind of almost happened right there between 3 and 4 right at the last minute. And kind of catapulted you up to P2 for the finish. So not a bad showing and not a bad start to the ISRA truck campaign.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster of a race. I mean, I was ahead at the beginning of the race. After that, I got hit by anywho, and I went dead last. I had to work my way up to the front, and even then, it was so difficult to keep those trucks on track. And I mean, it's literally my second race ever with those things. So yeah, wasn't so lucky last week, but yeah, it was a really enjoyable race.
I like how you said my second race with these things.
Yeah, things.
So Alex, I have to ask you the same question I asked Chris. How tempting was the middle on that last lap?
I tried everything to find a gap. I mean, the last thing I didn't try was to literally push someone, and I'm not that kind of driver. So yeah, the middle of the corner was so loose, and you couldn't do anything. And I mean, Lionel had better tires. He pitted after me, so yeah, there was literally nothing. In the last corner, I just decided to defend for P2. I didn't try anything.
Well, congratulations today. A great run for you and a lot of hard work, it sounds like. I don't think everyone expected that second stint to go quite as long as green as it did. So I think we have a lot of exhausted people right now. But before we let you go, anybody you want to say hi to, shout outs, anybody that you want to thank here for this race?
And to begin it with, thank you, you guys, for making this show enjoyable on YouTube for the people, and thank you to me, Rigney and his crew for putting it together, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, there you have it. Congratulations, and hope to see you next week at Kentucky.
Of course, thank you, guys.
And he sounds very, very happy, very tired as well. But we'll bring up probably the happiest guy here. It's going to be Lionel Callisto. I'm sure he's going to be very thrilled. Congratulations, Lionel Callisto, the winner today, ISRA Truck Series. Man, once you took the lead, you just kind of kept it glued to the bottom and brought her home. And then there was a little bit of racing there on that last lap, and Lewis Hayes kind of got in contact with somebody, not sure. He went up the racetrack, and then you were just all left by yourself, and that sealed the deal for you.
Yeah, and after that green flag pit stop, got a lot of help from Dean just to catch up to the lead pack. With the fresh tires, it helps so much. It made it so much easier to plant it down to the first lane. But yeah, it was pretty good in the end. Happy to come out with the win.
Yeah, I say you owe Dean quite a bit, but I'm not sure how he got so far down in the order. But once you found a partner with him, he stuck with you the entire time.
Yeah, if it wasn't for him, like I wouldn't be up there. Like I would have been like by myself, and I would not caught up with the lead pack.
Yeah, we were talking about how much faster, even with two trucks instead of one around this place, and the group in front of you was kind of racing each other, not getting organized. It just was falling into your hands. We were watching as we were getting to 10 to go, the time just kind of hemorrhaging up front, and you were just ticking them off, and next thing you know, you were right there. I mean, did you know that you were going to be able to catch them that easily? And then once you got there, I mean, then you had to get to the front. I mean, how did that all work out for you? Obviously you won, but what was the plan? If anything, that, you know, were you just going to try to wait for a mistake, or were we going to maybe use a little bumper?
I wanted fresh tires at the very end, so I wanted to stretch out as long as possible, try to save tires and get pit stop late as possible, just to get the fresh tires. But yeah, if it wasn't for Dean, I wouldn't have been up there. But yeah, like just having fresh tires alone, like those with the temperatures, how high it was, like the right rear tires were just wearing out a lot quicker. I noticed the guys were just losing a little bit in the end or in the corners. But that's where I made up a lot of the ground just with the fresh tires. just catch up to them and just stick to the low line.
Any shout outs anybody want to say hi to? Sponsors, friends, family, teammates, that type of thing? You earned it. You got the win, so the microphone is all yours, man.
I mean, shout out to everybody that's racing the league. You guys on the booth, like everything. Like I don't even know what else to say, honestly. But yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for everybody. Thanks to everybody.
Well, you're welcome, and we'll see how this catapults you into the points championship here. Only 2 rounds in. Next week, we are off to Kentucky, another similar type of racetrack, a little bit different, and we'll see how that shakes out. But hopefully no more pack racing for a while. We'll see. But congratulations, and we'll catch you in a week.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Moving him on down. Hey, one thing I did notice, and we knew he was fast, and we called him fast the entire time. Dean Mall, purple lap, 30.086. He was the fastest truck. I don't know how his start was so bad. It must have been an internet issue or an application issue or something. I don't think he was caught up in any wrecks or anything like that. I don't remember that. But once he was back on the track, he was fast. And you know what? I think not to spend any money on behalf of Lionel Callisto, I think he owes something to Dean, whether it be iRacing money or bucks or something for that win, because I agree with Lionel. I don't think that win happens without Dean.
And that's a fair analysis, Gary. The thing is, he's not going to be able to. Well, he could pay him back with iRacing bucks, or cold beer, or however such debts are settled. But we kind of talked about this earlier in our broadcast. Racers have very long memories.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember a guy that wrecked me in a go-kart 30 years ago, the exact corner, and I can tell you exactly how I'll pay him back 30 years later if we ever meet again. And Lionel and Alex and Christopher, those guys all had to have help along the way with the way that the track got strung out over those green flag pit stops. Matt Wagner's another one. He races way back up to 6th.
Mm-hmm.
These guys they all had to have help to get back to where they were, and every one of those guys is going to remember who helped them that didn't have to.
Yeah. As
we get further down the line, and as points become more important, it's not going to matter today, and it's probably not going to matter next week or the week after. But when we get into rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, when we get down to deciding who gets the trophy and the money, that's when you remember those things. And so Dean Mall made a huge deposit into the bank tonight, favors later on down the line.
He sure did. He sure did. I thought it was a great race, and I enjoyed it. And I think everyone kind of was shocked at that second green flag stint that went as long as it did. I think from lap 13 when we restarted, I actually said I was kind of an omen at 13 to the finish, lap 90. All green, and the track temps, I was taking a peek at them right at the green flag, 135 degrees track temperatures, and you can kind of see in some of these static shots that we got going on the heat haze coming off the track here. So a blistering track, great control for everybody. Could have been a number of big ones, and it wasn't. They did a fantastic job, and next week we're going to Kentucky, a track that hopefully is a little less packy. And a lot more putting it back into the racers' hands.
I love Kentucky. I do too.
I do too.
I love Texas. I love the way that it forces the drivers to drive. So, back in the old days, we used to have Trenton, for example, a track with 2 very different ends. Kentucky and New Texas have kind of brought that back.
Mm-hmm.
Where, you can be, Pocono's another one where you can be really good at one end and you can be awful at the other end. And so you have to compromise, you have to change your lines, you have to hunt clean air. You have to do all of these different things as a driver in order to make the difference. And so Atlanta and Daytona, they're great tests of speed, they're great tests of drafting. None of that matters when you go to Kentucky. It's all going to be about line, who's got the fastest hands, who is willing to stab that throttle just a little bit more, who's able to save their tires, especially the right rear. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see it.
So that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Plate Atlanta. Lionel Callisto with the win, Alex Guy in P2, and Christopher Reagan. Last week's winner, it looks like he's going to be your points leader, is P3. Join Mark and myself again next week for round 3 of the ISRA Truck Series as the team of drivers move to Kentucky. Coverage this season begins right around 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, it's 8:55 p.m., 5 till 9. As always, you find everything right here on YouTube at youtube.com/RaceFirst. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support RaceFirst with the weekly grind, and it's going to be a weekly grind up until the middle of June. Trust me. Leave a comment below. Let us know about tonight's race, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of other RaceFirst iRacing programming, and we're going to have a lot of it starting next week. So keep your browser set here for the most in-depth, IndyCar knowledge on all iRacing, and we're just learning from the truck ranks. But Indy at RaceFirst, we know what Indy means. For business inquiries and learn more about RaceFirst and what we do, visit us at racefirst.com, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. So for Mark Murphy, everyone at RaceFirst, I'm Gary Gonzo saying all a happy good evening to everybody. Thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here next week in Kentucky for the next race of the ISRA Truck Series. Good night.
You wanted to say ISRA, didn't you? Didn't you?